President Clinton vows to veto what he says is a Republican plan to cut Medicare. The general gets specific. Colin Powell reveals his positions on welfare, balanced budgets, and his own hot temper in a one-on-one with David Martin. New trouble for the Los Angeles Police Department. Documents show Chief Willie Williams did accept freebies, despite what he told his bosses and our Ed Bradley. Also the Simpson trial. Today, the prosecution offers concrete evidence to refute the second killer theory.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Colin Powell is beginning to talk in more specifics and emerge in greater detail tonight as a potential presidential candidate. In the midst of a carefully orchestrated media blitz for his new book, the former chairman of the U.S. Military Joint Chiefs sat down with correspondent David Martin today to define himself, who he is, and where he stands. David?
Dan, Colin Powell calls himself a political Forrest Gump, by which he means he is a blank slate upon which other people project their own values. But it turns out Powell has opinions on just about everything, including his likely party affiliation if he runs.
The best way to enter elected politics for me would be as a Republican candidate, if that's what I wanted to do.
Give me your take on the Republican field.
None of them seems yet to have sort of formed a critical mass of support, with the possible exception, and I think clear exception, frankly, of Bob Dole. But even with Senator Dole, there seems to be some softness in his support.
You've revealed yourself so far to be pro-choice, against mandatory school prayer. That hasn't exactly made you the poster boy of the Republican right.
I'm not trying to be anybody's poster boy. And I can assure you, as I thought about these issues over the last 2 years, I wasn't going down the right-hand column and a left-hand column seeing what will the traffic bear. All I can do at this point is to say what I believe, tell people why I believe what I believe, and that's a good position to be in.
So let's go down some of the issues. Welfare reform. Would you deny additional payments to women who have more babies?
I am concerned that by so doing, we are ultimately penalizing the babies. We are ultimately increasing the farm team of future boys and girls to be incarcerated in the prisons we will have to build for them.
How about a constitutional amendment to balance the budget?
I am reluctantly coming around to the view that may be necessary. The reason I'm very reluctant to see this happen is I don't really like fiddling with the Constitution for something like this. And I also know what the ultimate result is going to be 4 or 5 years from now. When they haven't cut enough spending, they will tell the American people, we have to raise your taxes because the Constitution requires it.
And you're for lower taxes?
Who isn't for lower taxes?
So would you cut entitlements, specifically Social Security and Medicare?
I think we have to look at all of the entitlement programs. Nothing should be off the table. We have to look at everything the government is doing. We have to look at corporate welfare. We have to look at all these tax loopholes. We've got to look at, people talk about preferences, affirmative action, and quotas. Let's look at the affirmative action preferences and quotas that are given to K Street lobbyists and lawyers. And let's get rid of them while we're getting rid of other quotas and preferences.
Are there any government agencies or departments that you would just eliminate?
I think all of them, with the exception perhaps of Defense, State, and the Treasury, should be candidates for review. But I would put them all on the Endangered Species Act and tell the EPA to start protecting them, because we're going to go after all of them and let them justify their continued existence.
There is a question about whether you're too thin-skinned to put up with the abuse and cheap shots that any presidential candidate would have to put up with. Do you blow your top easily?
I have a temper. I've even talked about it in my book. But I have learned, one, that a temper is sometimes a very healthy thing to have. Two, I know how to control my temper. And all I can ask you to do, or suggest that you do, is watch me for the next few weeks and wait for me to explode. And then you'll know, David. So don't be around when it happens.
So you think you can take waking up one morning and seeing one of your daughters on the cover of a tabloid in a supermarket?
That really is one of the things that my family and I have to think about. I would probably go a little nutty. I will want to strike back. But I can handle it.
Of course, the one question he doesn't answer is, will he run? And I think he honestly doesn't know yet. But if he does run, there won't be much doubt about where he stands. Dan?
David Martin in Washington. President Clinton said today he will veto the Republican version of a plan to overhaul Medicare. The president said the plan Republicans have just outlined to change